record. All right, cool. You can jump into it now. Sweet. So today we'll be talking about how to scale Facebook ads to 10K days in 2025. To be fair, like this is the same stuff that's working on accounts that are doing 30, 40, 50K a day in revenue. I just said 10K a days because there's a marketing lesson. If you put too big of a number, people don't believe you. So actually put a lower number just so people would believe me and not think it's bullshit and stuff like that. But this is the same stuff that we're also leveraging for accounts that are doing like 50 to 100K a day in revenue. But yeah, long story short, that's why I said the 10K a days and stuff like that. So yeah, and just for example, this is just one of our accounts. Literally just last month, did a little over 500K in revenue and everything. All of the key things that we're gonna be showing y'all today. Now, y'all may have found me from Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. Some of y'all, this might be y'all first time ever exposed to my content and stuff like that. So just want to say thank y'all for showing up today. Thank y'all for commenting everything. I massively appreciate all of y'all support on whatever social channel that you follow me on. Trust me, like I appreciate it a ton. I'm very, very thankful I get to do what I do every day. So something I've literally dreamed of since I was 12 years old when I started my first YouTube channel, making Call of Duty videos from Modern Warfare 2. If you guys ever played Call of Duty and remember that game. So just want to say thank y'all very much for showing up today and everything like that for my first ever, what I would say, live class and stuff. Now, something I've noticed from YouTube, something I've noticed from literally the free, let's see, hold up. All right. Something I've also noticed from my free active marketer group, and even something I've noticed from some of the inner circle students that I've also mentored as well, is that a lot of people are just not sure what action to take next. And I don't know if y'all can relate to this or not, but like I find a lot of people when they first come to me, whether they're a client or a student, this is kind of how they feel all day at their desks. It's like this person's talking about cost caps. This person is talking about bid caps. This person is talking about like all these random things. And like it's really hard to like cut through the noise and just having laser focus on exactly what you need to do. And especially too in like a 2025 climate. So everything I'm going to show y'all today, like I literally picked 3 different accounts to show y'all today that are literally what we did last month. So I can literally show y'all what's working actively right now versus showing y'all something that like maybe worked once and like never repeated. This is something that you can continuously do outside of just 2025 and beyond. So this is how you take accounts from like this to this. And the key thing here is having a clear, narrow, straightforward process. So going a little bit further into this, again, same thing we followed for this account last month. The very first thing I like to do is start to identify the bottleneck. And it actually is insane to me how many clients I take on that are doing like we had this account that signed on last month selling this little like breathing spray and literally has never done a bottleneck analysis. And especially too in the beginning stages right here, so something we also often forget, even accounts that are starting to scale 200, 300, 400K a month, it blows my mind that how many people just never just take the second to step back outside of this little clutter they have and just simply perform something simple like a bottleneck analysis. And this is something that's going to helps me the most when I first come into an ad account and identify the 1 or 2 actions we need to do to actually be able to scale that account. So what is a bottleneck, Nick? Very simple here. This is a bottleneck. This is where all these little circles flowing through, they get restricted at this point right here, and very few circles can flow through. So this is the bottleneck. And our goal with today's call is to understand what's the bottleneck currently in your business and what's the specific action steps we need to take. If you came from my YouTube channel, you probably seen me talk about this. Trust me, we're going to go much more in depth today of actual specific steps around those bottlenecks. So that way I can further help you, actually, map out those next 1 or 2 actions you need to take right now in your business. So moving forward, this is what happens when you solve the bottleneck. This is where like literally everything can just fully flow without any restriction. This is where it allows you to scale your business. This is how you go 10, 15, 20, 50K, 100K. I think the most amount of revenue I've ever done in a single day for a client was $250,000 in a single day. That's just how you hit those bigger days right there. You rapidly overcome those bottlenecks, remove the restrictions in your business, and allows you to scale. So how do we do that? And that's the big thing that we're gonna be diving into today, helping y'all map that out and helping y'all fix those things inside your business. All right, cool. So the first thing I like to look at is to map out the bottleneck, you have to look at the key areas of where you flow at. Give me 1 second real quick. I want to see if I can actually just make this meeting real quick to where, let's see. I want to see if I can make it. Never mind. I'll just let it go. So first key thing here is you want to look at the different restriction points in your business. I like to look at cost per click, conversion, or conversion rate, and AOV. Now, keep in mind here, I don't kill ads based off cost per click. I still, at the end of the day, make all my decisions based off cost per acquisition. But cost per click allows me to understand and split up key parts of the funnel and at different stages of the consumer journey when they're going ahead and making a purchase with your brand. So cost per click right here, like if I just look at CPA, that includes both cost per click and conversion rate. But if I look at specifically cost per click, I get to understand how well is our creatives doing on the platform itself. And then conversion rate, if I split that apart from CPA, I also get to see the amount of people that come on my landing page and the amount of people that actually make that purchase from there. And then lastly, AOV, how much people spend with you. Do people purchase one thing from you, or do people purchase a larger bundle with you? What does that look like right there? So I like to look at this as the different parts of my funnel. And then I like to go ahead from there and start to improve those things. And with a collective effort at improving these key things in my business, if I can get cheaper traffic while still being quality, because cheap traffic is not all good traffic. If I want cheap traffic, like I could literally just go on Facebook and optimize for link clicks in like a third world country where I would get like 10-cent clicks, but it'd be terrible traffic. So I also want to make sure I state that it's cost per click around how can I get cheaper quality traffic that converts. And then the next thing is your conversion rate. How do I get more people to convert? And then AOV, how can I get people to spend more with me? Now, this is where I like to look at this little calculator right here. And I'm going to drop a link to it in a second in the chat. I just don't want to drop it too soon and y'all get like, distracted and shit like that. But this is the first thing I love to do anytime a client or student comes into either my Inner Circle program or my agency. And it still blows my mind by the number of people that have never done this before. It's an extremely simple like math game that allows you to understand what's going on in your business. And from here, I'll literally just put the last 30 days of ad spend, what our cost per link click was, what our AOV was, what our conversion rate was, what our cost of goods were. And I get a rough gross profit right here of how much the business did in the last 30 days. Now, this is only specifically on Facebook itself. This doesn't include like, Google ads and all of those things. I'm just purely just optimizing right here on the Google side. So now here, I'll literally go ahead and use this calculator to go ahead and map out what a conservative next 30 days look like and what an aggressive next 30 days look like. Now, conservative side right here, this is where like I'm literally taking all of these different variables like cost per link click, AOV, conversion rate, and I'm purely just looking at a 10% increase. So like cost per link click right here, what's a 10% decrease? Because you actually want cheaper cost per link clicks. But AOV, what does a 10% increase in AOV do? What does a 10% increase in Shopify conversion rate do? And literally just doing that right there, we go from $38,000 to $86,000 in gross profit. This is a really good client right here. This is a really good opportunity to make this client a fuckload more cash because like I don't have to do a ton to get them a really big result. And this is really good right here. There'll be sometimes where we do this cost per or this financial modeling calculator right here, and there is a ton of stuff needed. Like we just did this for one client and like a 10% increase and decrease on all of these things right here. Like they were still negative in the gross profit margin. I did not want to touch that deal because I knew that we would have to do a substantial amount of work. And I'm not saying that doing more work is bad, but when you have to do a ton of work right there, it decreases our probability of becoming profitable in our first 30 days as an agency with a client. And that's also going to make it more difficult right there for that client to want to go ahead and renew for another month. So I like to vet these bad deals out right before we even start working together. And then moral of this, or long story short, if I tell a client literally all of that and how the odds are not in they're like on their side, very rarely like clients will still be like, "Hey Nick, I still want to work with you." And that was actually a client a couple months ago. We did the exact same thing, and we're crushing it for him now. But the next thing I'll do is I'll also do an aggressive next 30 days for this. And I say aggressive next 30 days. This is where we're doing like 20% plus increases and decreases on these things right here. This is not a likely scenario. I like to call this the Q4 scenario right here because this is like where we're at perfect everything. Everything just crushes. And it's actually funny because one of the clients we recently just took on, right now we modeled out the conservative, and the conservative looked really good. And we're actually overachieving the aggressive. And again, all the things I'm going to show y'all today is how we're able to overachieve in the aggressive for that new client we just signed on. So I'm really excited to share that with y'all. But yeah, long story short, I'm going through this and I'm basically first modeling out that data. 10% decreases on conservative, or 10% increases on conservative, 20 plus increases on aggressive. And then just keep in mind, you want to look at a 10% decrease on cost per link click and 10%, and then increases on AOV and conversion rate. Now, keep in mind here, I highlighted these AOV, conversion rate, and cost per link click because these are our three big levers we can control in the business. And this is like literally how I get so many questions from people where they're like, "Hey Nick, how do you like barely work and get so much done?" And that's because like I literally only focus on big levers in the business. I'm no longer sitting down all day and doing this. Like this literally looks exactly like me in 2020. I remember in 2020, I had two different clients that I focused on all of 2020, metal address signs, and which was like a metal sign brand. And then I also had this women's clothing brand called Gritty Soul. And scaled Gritty Soul from 30K a month to 300K a month. And metal address signs, I scaled them from literally zero to I think the biggest month we did was 900K in 20 days. Now, long story short, I was literally sitting inside the ad account all day. Like I was a fucking Wolf of Wall Street day trader, and I was making marginally small increases. And I mean, I would literally spend there all day inside the ad account. And now I can manage five, six accounts a day, um, crush it, spend significantly more than those two brands, and only work 3, 4 hours a day at a time. Yes, some of that does mean it's due to a team, but it's also about knowing exactly what to pull inside the ad account to get the result you want. So that's why I highlight cost per click, where we're going to go over creatives, AOV, what to do to optimize your AOV, and then conversion rate, specifically what to do to optimize your conversion rate. And that's going to be the big focus on today. And, long story short, which one do you need to focus on? To be fair, a lot of you guys, I would just hit on all of them. Everything we talked about today, just weekly hit on these key things right here. But now with a lot of the accounts I do, I pick one and just go super aggressive on that one thing. to improve that particular thing. So like let's say for example, if like AOV and conversion rate, like let's say they're already testing a ton of stuff for AOV and a ton of stuff for conversion rate, but they're not doing anything from a creative standpoint, then we spending a lot more time on the creative side right there. And just essentially fixing that stuff. So cool. If you want that calculator, you can honestly, I'm just gonna send y'all the Google Sheet, make it a little easier for y'all. I'm just gonna copy this and put this in the chat right here. Boom. Um, there we go. And then y'all can just save that. Just go to File, make a copy, and then save it to your drive. A lot of y'all like request edit access, and I just immediately decline, and I'll also like literally go ahead and probably say something really funny to you back in the Google email I get. But yeah, just do that. Just so that way you don't have to go opt into this little funnel or anything like that inside of here. All right, cool. Now let's go ahead and start breaking these things down of what specifically we do in these scenarios. Obviously, the first things first, we're going to look at cost per click, which cost per click is going to be more on the Facebook side. And there's a couple different variables we have on the Facebook side. The first one we have is campaign structure. And I know all of y'all are absolute savages. Y'all are killers. Y'all follow my channel. Y'all do like all the right things already. So I'm going to spend very little amount of time on the campaign structure. So that way I can focus on the really juicy stuff on the creative side. But long story short, all of our campaigns right now, all of our accounts, we're running one campaign structures. I noticed someone just said something about lead gen. Yeah, I'm not going to cover like anything specifically on lead gen today in terms of like do this for lead gen, but literally everything I'm doing today and showing y'all today is exactly what we're applying to lead gen accounts. So in that particular case right there, yeah, like I'm not going to specifically say it's for Legion, but yeah, we everything we do for ecom, we also do for Legion, and we absolutely crush it on Legion side. But yeah, so long story short, we're doing one campaign structures, and I specifically do one campaign per product category. I get clothing brands that message me all the time asking me, well, Nick, if I'm running a clothing brand, what do I need to specifically do? Do I do one campaign for every t-shirt? Look, long story short, the way I do it is I do one campaign per product category. So let's say if I'm doing one campaign, or like let's say I have t-shirts, pants, hoodies, I'll do one CBO campaign for shirts, one campaign for hoodies, one campaign for pants. Now, I also like to think about it like this is that if I'm running ads, like that's a lot of campaigns to manage. So I like to primarily focus on one campaign per best-selling product per category. So like let's say for example, like 70% of my revenue comes from t-shirts. I would only focus on t-shirts and then use pants, hoodies, and these other products as upsells and cross sells inside the business. So that's also another thing. It's kind of hard to articulate that in the comments of a lot of my posts and stuff. But a lot of people think you have to run ads for all the products in your store, and that's completely false right there. So I would do one campaign per product category, but I would only focus on the product categories that's making 70% of your revenue, and then use other products as cross sells, down sells, upsells, all of those good things. And you can use like UFE, cross sell, upsell bundles, and then you can also leverage something like after sell, which we'll talk a little bit about after sell as well today. Now, I also like to do one campaign per gender if I'm selling gender specific products. If I was selling something like this LaCroix I'm sipping on right here, or even maybe this Celsius I have inside of here as well, these are like not gender specific products. I can sell that to anyone. But if I was selling women's sports bras, for the most part, only women are going to be wearing sports bras. So I would do like a women specific campaign for the sports bras. And then like, let's say I'm also selling men's underwear because I'm an underwear brand. Then I would also do like a men's specific campaign just for the underwear. And then in that particular moment is when I would go and, change the targeting to only men or only women for that particular campaign right there. And then lastly is I'll do a one campaign per country. Now, There is some people that like to do like all the countries in one campaign. You're not wrong at all if you do all countries in one campaign at all. But keep in mind with my strategy, I like to do one campaign per store, and I have a different store per country, translated with translated ads, translated ad copy, translated product page, and the checkout, all of that for that specific country. So if I was like advertising in Germany, for example, I would literally have a German campaign, German ads, like the creatives would be in German, the ad copy would be German. I would have German specific content creators, and then I'd be running ads to a product page that's also in complete German as well. So that's also like super big right there, for me. All right. Just quickly checking the comments real quick. Let's see. Yeah, so we'll get into Advantage Plus here in a second. And what if a single website is multilingual? If the website is multilingual, then that's fine. But I would still do a dedicated campaign for each language with translated ads. That's the key thing right there. And yes, I do mix video and images in the same campaign because, to be fair, I don't really care which one gets more spin as long as they're converting. That's all that matters to me. Now, best practices here. Just kind of going over some of the advantage stuff. I'm doing campaign budget, daily budget. Some people ask me what's like where should you start a campaign at in terms of budget. For me, I always tell people it's like whatever you can spend for 30 days, and care less if you lose it or not. So for me, it's usually $100, $200 a day is where I start a campaign at, and then I work to make it profitable with creatives and fixing the bottlenecks and stuff like that. So um, I don't I didn't put a screenshot, but I mean, I think everyone knows this. You should be optimizing for purchases in 2025. I'm doing auto in terms of like the bidded. I'm also doing what is it also? It's like lowest conversion. There's like highest value conversion and lowest conversion. I'm still doing lowest conversion. I haven't tested highest value yet, but when I used to test highest value all the time, I always noticed highest value had a significantly worse cost per purchase. It may start out good for a day or two, but then just do terrible. So no, I'm not doing highest value right now. And then for my audience, it's Advantage Plus audiences, which to me, all Facebook did was go force broad targeting on people by literally creating Advantage Plus audiences. That's my perspective of how they like force it on people by giving it a new fancy name versus trying to say broad targeting. So yeah, broad targeting, allowing Facebook to do the work. And then like I'm not doing any specifics right here in terms of gender and stuff. But if I were to do a gender specific campaign, I would just go and add in the gender right here. And that's it. And as far as ages, I've literally only done like one age group. Like only one of our accounts, they can only target 60 plus due to what we promote is specifically legally only allowed for 60 plus. It's a very complex thing. But yeah, so I'm only doing ages when it's like literally required. And then I'm also doing auto placements as well. And this is just an example of an account. It's an account we've been running now for a year. And inside of this particular account, I mean, this one campaign we've been using, we've launched over 109 ad sets in this campaign. And I would say, give or take at any given time, we have about um, 7 or 8 of them that are live at a given moment. Also, too, another key thing, this account still has a main ad set because like this main ad set has just been running for a long time. You can't really see it right here, but it says April 4th, like literally April 4th, 2023 right here. But I've just never turned it off because it's been doing good. But yeah, we're not doing main any ad sets anymore. We're just kind of launching those ad sets, letting them crush for as long as they do, and then just turning off whatever doesn't work anymore, keeping it simple. And then each ad set, we're doing single ads now. This is something I started about, I don't know, about a month ago now. We started doing the single ads. Used to do the flexible and everything. Flexible is still perfectly fine to do. Nothing against flexible. I just got to a point where we actually started to need to see the data in terms of which one performed best. And I've also had like a ton of comments of people just basically complaining and bitching about they couldn't see which one performed best. So I was like, you know what? Let's just switch to individual or flexible. Like one of them is not going to perform better. Just the only difference here is that one of them will allow you to see what like creative performed and stuff like that. For the most part, I'm just still turning off the ad set. Very rarely will I go and like turn off individual ads here, but this particular media buyer did on my team. So cool. We're gonna start moving over to the what you call it, the creative side. I see a couple questions in here, just real quick as I go through this. William, one ad set, one creative. This should answer your question right here. We're still doing like one concept per ad set. So if y'all notice, like this is my ad set 207 right here. This is our 4th of July ad set that we had launched at the time I made this training. It was over 2, 3 weeks ago. But I launched all of our 4th of July creatives right here. And then like this one right here, 197, this was a how-to UGC right here. So this right here like was literally like the UGC video would just be like UGC for that one concept right there. That's it. So cool. Yes, all of this is CBO. All of this is CBO. So like you said, all of these campaigns right here, these 3 campaigns that all spent, this one spent $779,000. This one spent $2.2 million. This one spent $6.6 million. All of these is just a CBO campaign that we keep adding in new ad sets with new creatives. We increase, decrease the budget based off performance. And then as we find new creatives that lower CPA, we can start increasing the budget and start scaling up from there. All right. All right. I'm gonna start moving forward now. Just because I also want to make sure we have enough time because we got a lot to go through today. All right, cool. So now we're going to start focusing on creatives. So campaign structure, that's one way to lower CPC. And obviously, like it's not a huge way, it's not a big lever, but it's also too, I need to make sure you'll have the proper foundation so we can start building up that house. Now we're going to start focusing on the creative side in terms of like what's working right now on creatives and everything. So first things first, iterations is crushing right now for us. And I need to explain myself a little bit around that because I don't want y'all just going to create a ton of iterations with no guidance. So a part of me back in 2000, it was 2022, I believe, from it was October 2021 to April of 2022, we had found a winning ad for one of our clients. It was Black Gold Elixir. And we scaled them from like 100K a month to 250K a month in November of like 2021. And my team literally did nothing but iterate on that message for 4 months and didn't test anything else new or anything like that. And it literally tanked performance to where in April they were dying. And then basically I made the decision of, hey, like let's not focus on iterations and variations at all and only focus on new messaging because that's what was giving us the biggest winners inside of our ad account. With that being said, only focusing on iterations and variation or only focusing on new messaging also has a lot of big spikes in the account. So what I found out today or over the last couple months that's made a tremendous impact on all of our client accounts is 40% iterations, 40% variations, and 20% new messaging. So that way we're iterating on what we know works. We're also creating new variations of saying the same thing in new ways. And then we're also testing new messaging to give us a chance to adapt as the market evolves and everything. So this is a great example right here of an iteration for us. This was a new winning ad right here that we had found. And then I literally just went ahead and created 2 new iterations. And iterations were keeping everything the same. I'm just changing the visuals in it. That's it. So this example right here, we had this one photo and then I created 2 new photos, exactly the same messaging, just new visuals. I'm not changing anything else. We've created like probably close to 40 to 60 iterations for this client now over the last 6 weeks, and their cost per lead keeps dropping week over week. And also, too, by giving my video editor more pressure to be creative in the sense of coming up with new ideas, it's allowing us to create better and better ads every week because now we're going, instead of going wide with a lot of different messaging, we're going in depth now with one message and really forcing his creative output to come up with new things. So we'll literally iterate on the same winning messaging every single week. And then next one is variations. So variations for me is where we have our same winning ad, for example, like this, and then we're just going ahead and displaying that in new ways. So we're not just changing the visual, we're changing the whole design. I love Creative OS, so I got these two ideas from Creative OS right here. So like that's also something really good to focus on. And then also too, I like looking at like foreplay. I like just scrolling on my Instagram reels. Also love looking at like competitor ad libraries and Facebook ads. I'm pulling all these different creative concepts that we can then go recreate with our winning messaging right here. So we have our iterations, our variations, and then we also have our new messaging. So you'll understand how like this one right here is saying attention Dallas residents, we're looking for 7 people ready to say goodbye to acne forever. Also, keep in mind, don't say that in your ad account. You probably will get banned. This particular account, this particular client right here actually has a legit FDA cleared product with a ton of clinical trials and everything like that. They're also verified with Facebook and stuff. So they can actually say these things without worrying about getting banned. But we're also testing new messaging here. So like this one right here is going after a core persona, which is basically moms. This one right here is another one, just kind of introducing a new mechanism right here. This is crushing for us on this particular client right now. It's actually a new winning creative we literally just found in the last couple of weeks. This is a great example right here of a stage 3 sophistication headline where we're introducing a new mechanism. So new laser treatment, new mechanism, vanishes acne, what people want, and then in 30 minutes, why people should give a fuck about this mechanism over other mechanisms on the marketplace. And then here's another one right here. This is another solution aware. Like basically aware, or solution aware, market awareness, but I'm introducing a new mechanism as well by just simply calling out another mechanism that people are using and then introducing a whole new one from there. So this is new messaging, this is variations, this is iterations. If you're testing 10 ads a week, 4 be iterations, 4 be variations, 2 of them be new messaging. If you're testing 100 new ads a week, 40 will be iterations, 40 will be variations, 20 will be new messaging. So just giving y'all clarity on that. Now, I'm not just doing static ads. I'm also doing video ads and stuff. I just, for the single like purpose of making this slideshow easy, I just didn't include videos, but we're not just testing with statics. We're doing a mix of statics and videos. It just depends on like what we need to portray the belief that, hey, this product accomplishes what people want from there. Cool. All right. Now, as far as new messaging, what specifically is new messaging? So for me, new desires. If you don't know what a desire is, essentially what people want. Desire is things that already exist in the marketplace. It's the great water rapids flowing down the mountain, and we're simply calling out things people already want and then introducing as our product as how to basically achieve that thing. So here's just an example right here, how to scale Facebook ads versus, finding new winning Facebook ad creatives. These are 2 different desires that people have. Another one is the market sophistication stage we're going after. So how to scale Facebook ads to 30K days, where we're exaggerating a claim, versus how to scale Facebook ads for high ticket e-com, where we're going to a stage 5, where we're focusing on a specific identity right there. Just two different ways to position the product in the marketplace. New awareness levels. People that are literally like, hey, my blood pressure is high right now, problem aware versus the solution aware people, which is, hey, I'm looking for low sodium food options, right? So keep in mind, that's a problem aware market versus a solution aware market. People are like literally trying to figure out how to lower their blood pressure, problem aware. And then people that are already actively aware, hey, I have high blood pressure and I specifically need to look at low sodium food options, then I would specifically be looking at the solution aware market right here and calling those things out. And then lastly, new personas. This is also something really big for us. Um, Again, postmenopausal women who have no energy versus postpartum moms who have no energy. Two different personas right here that's going to buy that product with, yes, the same desire, but still have, they're going to be different visuals and different messaging, right? Like, why does a postpartum mom need energy versus why does a postmenopausal mom need energy, right? Postmenopausal mom, like enjoying retirement, things like that. Postpartum mom, getting energy to be able to take care of her newborn kids and things like that. So that's also another big one right there. And these are all different things that we take into account when we're testing new messaging. There may not be a ton of things that we test here for new messaging, and that's okay. But that's why we're also went from 100% new messaging all the time down to 20%. So that way we can spend a little bit more time now really doing the research, talking to our customers, and getting like actual clear ideas of what to test specifically. And for me, I'm getting all that from research. And just these are all the different methods I use for research. I don't really have like a one way rules all. I found a winning ad from literally all of these ways. So that's why for me, it's like I bounce between all of them. And I just have more of like a couple different strategies I can deploy, and I usually when I'm working with a client, I'm testing all of these, I'm going through all of these and just getting a bunch of new messaging from all of these. And then I'm testing all of them to see what works better. But looking at Reddit threads works really well. Looking at reviews on your specific product. For people that just launched a brand, you may not have reviews yet, and that's totally okay. But literally just going ahead and looking at the reviews on your website and stuff. I found so many golden nuggets from that. Surveys, surveying your existing customer. Not a post-purchase survey right after they bought and they even haven't even had time yet to use your product, but like literally a post-purchase survey 30 days later, they've had your product, they've had time to experience your product, and now you survey them to see specifically what they loved about it and what it's allowed them to do and achieve and things like that. Now, don't get me wrong, you can still do post-purchase surveys where they get it like literally right after, but I've seen so many people do post-purchase surveys where they're like, hey, how has this product changed your life? It's like, how the fuck does it change my life? I just bought this 2 seconds ago. But you can say things like, who are you? You're male, female. Do you work a full-time job? Do you struggle with one of these things? That's why you bought. And you can ask them more questions to figure out who they are right after. And then you can send them another survey 30 days later where it's more specifically who they've been able to come with your product. Now, next one is social media. This is literally just me going in like let's say for example, if I was, advertising for LaCroix, I would go search like sparkling water on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and just watch a ton of content around sparkling water to see what people hate, what people love about sparkling water in general. Add comments, like literally in my own ad account, looking at the comments in the ad account and everything like that. I found so many golden nuggets from there. Competitor ad libraries. Specifically look at competitor ad libraries. You can select the time range inside of competitor ad libraries. Make sure you select it's like on or after. And the one on the right, you want to select this one to where it's like, hey, I don't want to see any ads that were launched in the last 90 days. So that way it only shows me from the beginning to 90 days ago. And the things that's been running for at least 90 days, those are going to be like more good ads that are likely the winning ads in their ad account and stuff like that. So next one's competitor reviews. This is also really big here. Competitor reviews. I found a lot of really good golden nuggets here. Specifically, this is where I found like niche audience personas. I found new desires, different problems. I've also found what like literally people have hated about their product and everything, and I've been able to use that in ads to be able to call out the fact that ours doesn't have that specific problem. Cool. Just a quick little check real quick in the chat. How can I maximize the chance that clients will participate in the survey? Look, to be fair, if you have an amazing product and you just send them a message, like an email blast saying, "Hey, we'd love your feedback," and you send them the survey, you'd be surprised how many people respond back to that. Now, if no one responds back, then it's like, okay, hey, we have a problem here. People must not like this product. They must not be using it, things like that. So in that case, right there, that's when I would go and just offer a small incentive. Like let's start off with a $20 Amazon gift card. Or better yet, before we even offer like Amazon gift cards and stuff, I've seen people literally go and offer like a $20 store credit. So basically a $20 like gift card for your store. Even like a more aggressive discount as well. I think the most aggressive discount we've ever offered for a survey was like literally like 30% off, 30 to 40% off from there. So, all right, cool. Let's see. Any recommendations for Shopify apps to send surveys? Yes, Google Forms. Just keep it simple. I use Klaviyo for all of our Shopify stores. I use Klaviyo for email marketing. And then from there, I'll go ahead and do Google Forms to actually structure the survey and stuff. Kristen asks, what's the hit rate in terms of iterations and variations they can spin the CBO? Christian, if it's a what I call a winning messaging that we're iterating and variating on, I will see as high as like 50, 60% hit rate on iterations and variations. So yeah. Cool. Roman Chloe, are you testing the variations in the same campaign? Yes, I am. Do you do broad targeting if my product is not mass market? Yes, Anthony, I'm still doing broad targeting if it's not mass market. For Legion specifically, I'm just doing a heavy amount of qualification using like jot form and stuff like that. All right, cool. And then difference when setting a minimum spend, Nick? Yes, I do a $10 minimum spend. All right. Okay, cool. I see some of these are getting off track compared to what we're talking about right now. So I'm just gonna come back to this in a second. All right, cool. So next thing here is this is kind of like what my focus should look like. As I'm creating ads, I'm spending 80% of my time on existing winning messaging, 20% on the new messaging. But then once I find a new winning messaging, what do I mean by that? That's a new messaging that takes overall spend that CBO and helps us scale for at least 7 days straight. So I found a new winning ad, new messaging we never done before, takes overall spend, the allows us to scale for 7 days. It becomes a new top spender. It's crushing and everything like that. Then that becomes my new winning messaging. Now I only focus 80% of my iterations and variations on that while also still testing new messaging on the side right there. And this is exactly how we're able to drop CPL for this client. We literally went ahead and dropped cost per lead from $40. This is the week before that we started working together. And then this was the last 7 days where at the time I made this presentation. It was July 1st to July 7th. And we dropped CPL from $40 to $25 cost per lead. We spent $8,200 and got back 326 leads. Whereas this time right here, we spent $10,000 and had 261 leads. So we've added an additional 80 leads at $2,000 less for the account. So pretty solid. And this is also just to show y'all numbers right there. Lower cost per lead. We literally added $42,000 in monthly revenue for this client, spending $7,000 less in ad spend. So we spent $7,000 less and made $42,000 more by cutting CPA down significantly. This product is also a $3,500 price point right here. And yeah, so Anthony, I know you asked about Legion specifically, or I think two people asked about Legion specifically. So yeah, like literally all that's applied to Legion. and e-com. So here's an example right here. It's a brand new account, or I say a brand new account, brand new client we just started with. Prior to us joining and starting to work with this client, they were getting a $41 cost per purchase. And literally last 7 days, I took the screenshot this morning. So July 21st today, this was July 14th through July 20th. We cut down their cost per purchase from $41 to $22. Again, nothing crazy, but when you look at it from this perspective, we spent $2,600 with 117 purchases. And this one right here, we spent $4,800 with 117 purchases. And all we did right here was literally go in their accounts, take their top spending ad, create a bunch of iterations and variations, and also to testing some new messaging. And we found a mix of iterations and new messaging that became the new top spender in that account right there. So all right, cool. Oh, also too, very big question I get a lot of people from is how many ads should I launch a week? From this perspective right here, it really just depends on your team size and ability to maintain quality with quantity. That's my best answer for you. I'm not really worried anymore about only launching like 6 creatives a week because of budget. Like I'm not really worried about budget anymore for creative to budget ratio. I'm purely worried about team and quality with quantity. So, for example, I just brought on another video editor to my team. So now we're increasing the number of videos and ads we're able to put out per week for our clients. So now we're increasing the quantity because I hired an additional team member to increase the number of ads we can put out. Some of y'all, like I talked to, y'all are still literally going ahead in Canva and CapCut and like making your own edits yourself and everything. And like in that particular case right there, you might only be able to launch 5 to 6 quality creatives a week. And that's totally okay. But as you build a better team, as you hire more content creators, get more content and stuff like that, you'll be able to increase the quantity because now you're having a lot more quality to be able to put out there. So that's just the big thing right there that I'll be looking at. And then the next thing is I recommend creating some type of Google Sheet. This is a Google Sheet that I've been giving out to my inner circle students the last 4 years now, where I literally just track all the different ad tests we do. And this helps a bit. It helps you keep track of like what's going on in terms of the different things you're testing and stuff. But to be honest, like I just pop open the ad account, look at the last 7 days, highest spending ad in the account, pull out that, and like boom, there we go. I know it's working. So. But yeah, so this is everything we do to lower cost per click between ad account structure and the creative side. Now we're going to start moving over to CVR. I'm just going to quickly check the chat really quick. Um, Let's see. Christian asks, are there any specific KPIs you set your video editors or creative strategists in terms of hit rate or output? No, not really. It just depends, right? Because like, let's say I need a let's say I need a 5 minute long ad that takes someone from unaware to aware. Like for that right there, it's going to be extremely like they won't be able to pump out that many videos a week. But if I just need a 10-second video that says new cell live, like a video editor could pump out 50 of those in a week. So I don't really have a specific KPI. My only KPI for video editors is this ad boring or not? That's it. Literally, that's it. And if the ad's boring and they have a lot of boring ads, I usually stop working with them. Nick, please, which ad accounts agency do you work with? Look, like I work with clients that don't have banned accounts and everything. But if you need an agency account, I've have recommended Agency Aurora to quite a few students, and I have like 2 clients that are on Agency Aurora. So if you need that, just go for it. No, I'm not using the 3-2-2 method. If y'all saw earlier as I was going over this, I'm literally just creating 6 ads. 90% of the time, I'm just launching one primary text and one headline. Primary text and headline makes about I find 10% impact. So I usually just like put the headline as, for the most part, whatever the offer is, unless we're going after like a super problem aware or unaware market. And the actual ad copy itself is just either going to give more explanation of what's going on in the ad, or it's going to literally go ahead and give a reason why people should watch the video. So that's it. All right, cool. Chart link. I can't give you all the chart link right now. I might see if I can pull out just that creative roadmap in a second. All right, cool. We're gonna start moving forward now. Conversion rate. So the very first thing that we look at right here is literally going ahead and fixing the cost per click. Now we're gonna look at the conversion rate. I find conversion rate is often extremely overlooked. And I have about 3 different things that we do specifically for conversion rate to improve it. First one is offer. Um, to be fair, if you have a great offer, your conversion rate immediately shoots up. Like that's just going to be the very first simple one. And for me, like the way I look at offer, and I'm not going to go super deep on this, but the way I look at offer is that a winning offer equals a higher perceived amount of value than like the price you're asking for. This iPhone right here, I think I paid, I don't know, what, like $1,500 for this iPhone? I think that's what they run for about now. And like, I don't even blink about the $1,500. And I say that from like the point when I was a brokey. Like when I was a brokey, I still didn't blink at the 1,500 or I think like the 900 to 1,000 that they were asking, because the amount of stuff I can accomplish on this, that $1,000 is just like, it looks like a couple dollars for me. Like it literally looks like the $2 I spent on this LaCroix right here. And that's because there's so much value from this thing. I can, run a business on it. I can make content on social media and stuff. I can vlog my day and everything. Like there's just so much stuff. I can shoot 4K video now. So the $1,000 and $1,500 you get for this, or it's like it's nothing. Like it's extremely little. Um, so for me, it's like the amount of value that I get in exchange for that price, that's will be a winning offer when it exceeds that. When it's below that, that's usually where people get fucked at, because they're like trying to like they like, hey, this product does this one thing. Like what if they were just like, yeah, $1,500 iPhone, you can only send text messages from it. That's it. You can't call anyone. It has a touch screen, but that's about it. Camera doesn't work. There's no camera on it, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, that's a terrible offer right there, because there's no really value you're getting from that. So for me, value has to exceed price. If value does not exceed price and price exceeds value, then what happens here is that you have a losing offer and it's extremely difficult to scale. Um, and the last thing is that you never want to be the lowest price. Another amazing way to get fucked is offering the lowest price in the marketplace. Because then it's just a race to the bottom of who can have the cheapest price. And you're not even really competing on ads anymore at that point. You're competing with who has the best connections with manufacturers right there. Now, last thing is that more sophisticated markets also going to require more complex offers. If you're first to market with a product that no one else has, like you'll literally just be able to be like, all right, cool, boom, this thing, touchscreen, run a business, all of these things, $1,500, that's it. Oh, what are my other options? There's none. Cool, I'm buying it. So you don't need a complex offer from that. Easy action steps for literally all of y'all today is literally just go find 5 competitors, 5 different brands that's selling the exact same product as you. And then simply go ahead and look at, okay, hey, all these brands, of the average of the 5, on average, people sell it for about $100. I want you to ask yourself is, what are other products that you can bundle in with your current product right now that's going to improve the value? So, hey, this person sells this product for $100. This person sells this product for $100. I'm literally going to go sell my product at $105 or $110, but I'm also going to include an additional product as well. So that way they look at mine as like an improved or increased amount of value they're getting right there, because they're getting 2 products now. And this other product is actually something people actually want and stuff like that. So that's the thing. That's what I'm like to look at. And the other thing is that if I have a variety of different products in a marketplace, I'm specifically looking at is how is our product faster or better than the other products in the marketplace? Better just means how does our product offer more value in that case right there. So like, for example, in the phone world, this phone is faster, yes, and compared to like, this is the older iPhone right here. This one's significantly faster, so like costs more. And then also too, this one has a better camera than most phones in the market. I know my Samsung people. They're the ones with the long ass telephoto cameras and stuff like that. So, but for the most part, iPhone's cameras are pretty good. So, next thing, look at other brands that's already crushing it in the space. So like I love to look at AG1, for example. This is such a clean and simplistic, easy way to understand like what a better offer looks like. Whereas they're not the cheapest green supplement. I can go find a ton of different green supplements on the market, especially on Amazon. There's tons of them, like 20, $30 a container. But AG1, they're more expensive, but you also get all of these free things with it. And then also, too, another thing with AG1's offer is the little fact that they also have higher end people that they paid to make their product just stand out in the crowd. They invested a little bit more in the content to make the offer also stand out relative to everyone else, too. So, but yeah, long story short, AG1's a great example. They're an easy one I love to look at because when you buy from them, you don't just get a bag of greens. You also get all these other products and stuff. And also, I love the fact that they incentivize you to subscribe and save because their subscribe and save is $80 a month versus their buy one time, which is $99 right there. So, but yeah, last couple things you want to do for offer positioning is who does your product help specifically? This is also another thing where we look at a little bit more like specificness. So we've had this one client, I'm not going to mention their name and stuff, but this one particular client doing 600K a month drop shipping. They were able to scale quick, like within 90 days, $0 to $500 to $600 a month, or $500,000 to $600,000 a month in revenue. And the only thing they did was literally go and they looked at their 5 competitors right here and realized they couldn't beat them on that. So all they did was is brand it to a specific persona. That's it. And they picked that specific persona through going ahead and analyzing all the reviews on their competitors and finding a common persona that their competitors wasn't hitting on. And then their whole store was branded around this persona, the product page, everything like that. And that's how they were able to scale very easy from there. And then next thing, what problem does your product help them overcome, or desired state it helps them get? So if you're going to go and market to a specific persona to position your product differently from everyone else, then make sure you go ahead and like only talk about their problems and only talk about their desired state. Don't try to talk about everything else. If you try to talk about everything else, what happens? Well, you ended up just becoming another brand that's like a Walmart or Amazon or something like that. So cool. Now we're gonna go to product page. Improve your offer. Next thing, we're gonna kind of quickly go through product page right here. There's still a lot of y'all that are like very low tier product pages, to be fair. Look, you don't need to overcomplicate product pages. It's not like this is some mystical thing that like you just, I don't know, like some people overcomplicate it. Literally, all of these brands have already spent significantly more money on CRO, significant amounts of money on design teams and stuff like that. Like, literally, just go recreate them. I don't like recreating same exact products. Like, let's say, for example, if I was selling a greens powder, I wouldn't want to go and like just copy AG1's product page because it would look too similar. But like, I like to go and look at products that are leading brands that I'm selling completely differently, and then go look at these opposite selling brands just to look at their product pages and see what things I can pull from. Biggest thing that I always see for a lot of these brands right here is that one, their product photos look good. Product photos are huge, and a lot of people like literally overestimate that. There's some people still trying to use their AliExpress product photos. It's like ChatGPT, you can literally use AI images now that like crush. You can give your product to ChatGPT, have it create some AI product photos for you. And not saying it works all the time, but there's a good amount of time that'll work for you. Um, and also too, if you don't do a AI, you can also go hire on like Fiverr or Upwork. You can literally go and hire like people to do 3D designs of your product as well that look photorealistic, and it helps a ton as well. But yeah, product photos, questions and objections. There's people that have questions and objections to your product when they're going to buy your product. And a lot of people think people only don't buy because of price. And a lot of that's just your own bias to why you don't buy things because you're likely probably don't have a lot of money. Whereas the reality is a lot of people don't buy things because they have unanswered questions and unanswered objections. So that's a big one right there. What specific questions do they have? What specific objections they have? Being able to answer that and then being able to articulate that on the product page itself. Next thing is social proof. There's a lot of people that just simply don't have any social proof. You don't necessarily need testimonials and authority, but just simply proof that this thing works. That's a huge one right there that I think a lot of people lack. So if you can't have a good authority, you can't have good testimonials, how can you show me proof this thing does its requested thing? I like to look at a really big one right here. I like to look at is flex tape. Let's see, flex tape. This is a really good one that's consistently showing proof. Go look at like YouTube and just look up like flex tape commercials. They're consistently showing proof the product works to the point where you do not even need to like go do social proof and stuff like that. So what they do is they go do these crazy things where they like cut a hole in a boat, flex tape the bottom, and then put it in the water, and then like showcase how they can still float around in the boat with no water coming in. So from there, it's like they provide so much proof right there that in the ad, but then also too, they can copy that and put that on the product page that it allows them to be able to, overcome that. Oh, well, I need a doctor talking about this. I need a customer talking about this. So provide a lot of proof. Some products you just essentially have to have social proof, and that's the sucky part. Like if you're selling a weight loss supplement, it's like really the only way to show that it works is like literally people doing the weight loss supplement. So like some products, it is very extremely tough to do that. But overall, the main thing is, literally going film proof right there. Next one is risk reversal. We've tested a lot between 90 days, 30 days. Um, Longer guarantees always work the best. People use your product for 90 days. They don't see any success with it. We completely remove all the risk from them. Demoing the product, showing the product works, or showing how the product works specifically from there. I was just talking to this brand literally like an hour ago, where they would like stick a product on the wall and this product would do something. I'm not going to expose them and everything like that. But yeah, like they would literally didn't have any demos, or they had a ton of demos on their product page specifically, that helped out with, just essentially selling people on the product itself. And again, still things I don't see on people's product pages, just like a photo of their product and that's it. I'm like, well, how does it work? I have all these questions, and it's like can easily be just answered on the product page as well. Benefits, if you call out this product will give you more energy in the ad, make sure your whole product page also hits on how this product gives you more energy. Very simple one. And then unique selling points is just simply like what makes you different, what makes you better if you are in a sophisticated marketplace right there. Cool. Let's see, just a couple of questions real quick. I make jewelry. How can I find the correct target persona audience? If you make jewelry, I would specifically going look at a ton of different jewelry reviews, competitor reviews, like literally everything I just talked about in the research side right there. Let's see. Cool. All right, Kristen asks, are you running creative angle specific funnels? Yes, and that's actually we're going to be moving on to next. So pre-sale pages. This is the next big thing that substantially increases conversion rate as well. This is literally what a lot of you guys are probably doing right now. Add to product page or like add to collection page. Some of y'all may be doing add to home page. And this is literally how y'all look. Look like y'all begging for money right here when you do add to product page or just like direct, like, hey, you want to make more, you want to make more money? Boom, buy my course. Or you want more energy? Boom, buy my energy drink. If you really want customers to be like, yo, like, take my money, please, then you need pre-sale pages. Pre-sale pages are amazing. What I like to look at pre-sale pages is they're the middleman that helps have that sales conversation with people. So your ad is the marketing side. It gets people in the door. Then once people in the door, instead of just like, here's the product, buy now, the pre-sale pages kind of helps take them further through that mental loop right there. That mental journey they need to go through before they go to the product page. And we can do that through a couple different things right here for pre-sale pages. Number one, we have the advertorial side, which I love advertorials. These are really fun. Advertorials are going to look more like what I would say, um, just a news blog itself is what the advertorial is going to be right there. And typically, we're going to do more unaware and problem aware advertorials. So from stages of market awareness, we're going to do either unaware or problem aware for most advertorials. And it's just a more longer like sales conversation. So, for example, this is one that like we created, boom, and just kind of going through that full conversation through boom, boom, boom. And it's just a longer sales process right after someone clicks through an ad. Then next one that we like to do a lot is listicles, and listicles work really well for solution aware, product aware, market awareness. Something I love to do with listicles also is, in fact, actually, let me just pull this up right here and make it a little easier for y'all. Show y'all a few more. Listicles itself, like usually I'll just pull like main benefits of why people love a product and just go through here. This is not one we designed specifically. This is just like an example real quick. This is my big book of like landing page inspiration right here that I've just collected over the years. And yeah, just to show y'all some examples from this of what a listicle is. I love listicles. Listicles are really cool. They're super easy to make. And the cool thing about a listicle is like, all right, hey, someone clicked on your ad, they go to a listicle and it's like, hey, maybe they clicked your ad for energy. They go to a listicle and it's like 6 ways this helps you get more energy. And it's like boom, 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 boom. The key thing to understand with listicles is that each of the big points, you need to make sure that they're benefit driven. So a lot of people, when they go through this, they'll see like the headline right here and they'll scroll through it just like this. They're not going to read, like, we still want to be intentional about what text we put right here, but the main thing people are going to do is just skim over and look at these headlines. So brighter and smoother features, reduces the appearance of fine lines, peach fuzz won't grow back thicker. So like I'm already knowing about the key things about this product. And then I'm like, all right, cool. Order now. I'm not really going to spend a ton of time reading this. So make sure when you make a listicle and make sure when you make a advertorial that all of these key like points you're making are also like benefit driven because people are going to skim through. Now, last one is VSLs. VSLs also work really well for us. I love VSLs. I do not recommend beginners do VSLs though. And to be fair, I like to find a winning advertorial before I go to VSL. And then basically my VSL is just like basically I find the winning advertorial, then I turn that advertorial into the VSL. And that would be like the script for my client or for like basically a creator to film right there. So I like VSLs as well because VSLs also, it's visual, it's video and everything like that. It allows people to, just have that visual sales conversation versus just having to read a bunch of text. There's also a lot of other psychological components of it too, like from an attention span perspective. A lot of y'all, like including me, like we're all cooked in the sense of like our attention span, and it's a lot easier for a lot of us to consume video versus photo or like versus text. There's also less work in a VSL. Like I just have to sit down and consume, whereas like a reading, I have to really focus on reading and stuff like that. So VSLs can also work a lot better. And this is actually an inner circle student right here. Shout out Maisie. I'm not sure if you're watching this or in the call today, but he was able to cut down his cost per acquisition by 50% just by essentially launching an advertorial right there. So imagine whatever you're paying right now to acquire a customer, imagine that cut in half by just essentially launching an advertorial. So it's amazing. All right, cool. We're gonna move over to AOV. Before we move over to AOV, I'm just gonna quickly check. Let's see, real quick. Cool. I'm gonna quickly look at that little chat box real quick. Again, I'm gonna try to get to like everyone's. I'm gonna try to get through everyone's questions at the end of the call. So I'm just kind of skimming through some of these real quick, in between, just to see if there's anything immediately. Uh, Yeah, so for pre-sale pages, I'm literally just launching new ads for the pre-sale page. And inside of the new ads, I'm just changing up the what you call it. I am changing up the landing page itself. All right. I do not do retargeting. I do not do lookalike audiences. Pre-sale pages would not be necessary when pretty much if you're running like a sale, if you're at a product aware stage. And then, for example, clothing brands, I've never had a pre-sale page beat the product page for clothing brands unless I'm selling something that's like a couple $100. But for the most part, it's always going to be a product page. Philip asks, what's your opinion on Advantage Plus versus CBO? Again, go want to drop the recording of this. Like I already talked about this in the beginning of the call. Yeah, like I'm doing all Advantage Plus now. So, all right, cool. I'll move on. Again, I'm not going through everyone's questions right now. I'm gonna do that more towards the end of the call. I'm just trying to answer relevant questions to whatever I'm talking about as we finish this up. So we focused on cost per click. We focused on conversion rate. Now, lastly, let's look at AOV. And there's two things I like to look at for AOV. The first thing I like to look at is like literally just other products that people will purchase with your product. So if I go AT&T right now, I purchase an iPhone. Well, then cool. What are they going to upsell me on? Like it's like we literally all know it's going to be a charger. It's going to be a screen protector. It's going to be a case. It's going to be some AirPods. And I'm going to go in expecting to spend $1,000, but probably like 50% of their guests are going to go from $1,000 to $1,300 right there. And this is a great example of when I'm looking at pre-purchase upsells to increase add to carts, or to not necessarily increase add to carts, but to increase AOV. Then for a pre-purchase perspective, I'm essentially just looking at what are other products that go with my product. Another question I like to ask myself is what are other problems that my product creates for people? So if I go and purchase an iPhone, then it's like, well, fuck. Now I need a charging cable. Now I need a screen protector. Now I need a case. Now I need AirPods. All of these things are not problems for me until I purchase that phone. Another super easy thing you can do is literally go to ChatGPT and be like, hey, perform a deep research to identify me 10 different products that goes with whatever you're selling to improve AOV. And it'll also give you like a good list of ideas as well. I literally did this with a student the other day. I was like, he couldn't figure out what to add or test for upsells. And I was just like, went to ChatGPT, dropped this product in there and said, give me a list of 50 different upsells. And those like out of the 50, there was like 5 or 6 really good ones in there. And then just went ahead and, I'm assuming he launched it, hopefully. But yeah, so AOV, massive. This gives us a lot more margin for us to spend inside of the account. Now, again, look at brands doing this really well. I love Ridge for this. Ridge is doing a really good job with this. If y'all go to Ridge's website, they have so many upsells. Like they've literally taken everything possible. Like, come on, like there's so much they offer inside of there for the upsells. It's insane. Go to Ridge's website, like boom, it's in there. There's a ton of upsells. And then next one is Built. I love looking at Built specifically on the bundle side. If you go to Built's website, go to bundles. This is a really good example right here of yes, they're bundling the same product collectively together and everything, but also keep in mind that they're selling essentials right here that are made to be bought together. So not everyone will have bundles where like you can just multiply multiple products together. But let's say, for example, you were selling you have a clothing brand, because I know there's a lot of clothing brand people in here. I would literally do like, let's say you have a really cool shirt, a pair of pants that go really well with it, and shoes and a hat. I would bundle whole outfits together that people can make together. Again, something else that works really good to improve that AOV. Because again, if we get someone spending more money with us that they were already going to spend a certain number with us, and now they're spending additional money, now that gives us more profit that we can inject back into ads and also allows us to scale higher because we have a bigger margin now on the ad side. Now, post-purchase. This is the next thing we're going to talk about right here is the post-purchase side. And we're going to go about post-purchase upsells. The biggest thing for me right now is after sell by Rocket or Rocked. I don't know the exact name for that right there. Um, I'm loving this. We set this up for a couple clients right now. This is one of our clients right here. It's super, super, super easy to set up. I overthought post-purchase upsells a while. I used to recommend the other one by it's Ezra Firestone. No hate at all to him at all. Phenomenal guy and everything. But a lot of people overcomplicate it, the one-click upsell thing. I'm loving Aftersell by Rocket. It is extremely easy to set up. Like no brainer. Literally gotten all the students on this over the last couple weeks, and it's been crushing for them. And easy thing for me, what I'm looking at when setting this up, this is also another just example. Like we literally just set this up for a client like a week ago and already making additional revenue that we wouldn't have made before. And all we're doing here is we're essentially looking at the customer journey itself. So let's say, for example, I want to satisfy this desire. Let's say they want to satisfy the desire for potty training. It's parents. They want to satisfy a desire for potty training. Then let's say they buy pull-ups right here. So I want to potty train my kid. They go buy pull-ups. Then the first upsell I like to offer them is a bundle of other products that make it impossible for them not to fail. So here it's like they go buy pull-ups, boom, 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 type in their credit card information, and then boom, thank you page. And now they get hit with this big bundle. It's like the ultimate potty training bundle. It comes with like this little practice seat, this little like, I don't know, stairway for the kid to walk up the toilet. It comes with like the thing on the toilet so the kid don't fall in there. It comes with like some special soap that's just kid cool. It comes with a potty training book, potty training wipes. A bag, like all of this. It's like the ultimate bundle, like everything you need specifically to like 100% potty train your kid, guaranteed. So that's the first upsell. I always recommend the first upsell be at least double the price of your product. So if they purchase these pull-ups, let's say they buy a big pack of for $50, and then all of a sudden this upsell they get hit with is $100. Now, if they decline the upsell, I like to go ahead and do a downsell of just one of the products from the bundle versus all of the products. And that downsell is going to be 50% of the price of my product. So let's just say they spend $50 right here. Then they come right here, they'll spend 100. And then honestly, if they take this upsell, then the downsell won't even be shown, they'll just be done. If they don't take the upsell, then they'll just spend $25 on the downsell right here. So this is a really good one that I like to be able to go ahead and deploy, specifically for the ecom side. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and recap a few things real quick. I'm gonna get to y'all questions real quick, but before I answer y'all questions, I do want to go over like 5 minutes real quick, and then we'll go over questions, and I should have about 30 minutes for questions. So just recapping everything we talked about today. Identifying the bottleneck, solve for the bottleneck. So once you run the numbers, identify the bottleneck, you go and solve for the bottleneck. We talked about cost per click. We talked about conversion rate. We talked about AOV. And then also too, we talked about, well, technically we didn't talk about it, but long story short, for those who are like wondering right now, as far as scaling budget and everything by 20%, that's literally all I'm doing. Every day I'm just increasing the budget by 20% inside of my ad account. And that's it. I'm keeping it relatively very simple. And then lastly, from here, what happens is that you'll eventually hit a plateau. I've scaled so many brands now to multiple seven figures a month in revenue. And usually it's like scale, scale, hit a plateau, scale, scale, hit a plateau, scale, scale, hit a plateau. Where a lot of people crumble at in the ads ecosystem is that they'll hit that plateau and they can't figure out how to break it because they just don't know this shit. And then what'll happen is they just fall, business dies, shut down their store, and they on to the next product. Whereas for me, it's like every time we hit that plateau, we just go back and run the bottleneck analysis again. Identify the bottleneck, we solve for it, boom, 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 scale, hit plateau, then we go back and start over. And it's a consistent, repeating process over and over and over. And that like once we're able to finally break that, that's how we're able to help brands like Icon Amsterdam scale. We worked with them from October 1st to I think October 1st, 2021, all the way up to January 1st, 2024. Simple painting, girls' night. Y'all know that angle right there if y'all watch my stuff. Bright, we helped them do over $6 million during Q4 of 2022 right there. So we've done this over and over and over for multiple different brands over the last couple of years. Now, again, if everything you learned today, you're like, all right, fuck yeah, Nick, thank you, cool. Like, you're more than welcome to roll out and stuff. I'm gonna talk about one quick thing I want to give y'all before we hop into the Q&A, and then we'll do a live Q&A. But if you're tired of just watching YouTube content, if you're tired of just scrumbling around Twitter and stuff like that, and you want to know exactly how we do everything we talked about today and become a better marketer to where you actually know how to control the right levers in your business to allow you to scale with confidence, then I want to invite you guys over to the inner circle. Some of you guys in this call actually are from the inner circle. A lot of you guys heard about the inner circle specifically. This is my private mentor group right here. You get one-on-one DM access with me. You get one-on-one calls with me. That's one 30-minute call that I do with you each month. You get to just simply book whatever time works best for you. I do a weekly group call on Fridays at 1 p.m. Central Time. So right now it's 5:30 Central Time. So technically on Fridays, we start about 4 hours earlier. And also too, I also drop the weekly call recording inside the course you also get with this group as well. So get a lot of really good value from it. Typically about, I would say anywhere between 15 to 20 people are on each call, specifically for the group call. I usually do about a 50-50 between Q&A calls and also too, like anytime there's a new update of something that's working for me, like this is all stuff that's working for me right now that I showed you all in today's call, but like I go substantially in depth. Like I'll spend a whole 2 hours, hour and a half just on how to build landing pages properly, how to build out ads properly, versus the little bit of in-depth you guys got today. So I do that every Friday. You also get a group chat with other students. I do all the management of the group chat. I reply to everyone in the group chat. Typically for me, I'll just like check Telegram a couple times throughout the day and help people out with whatever questions they have. So it's not like one of those groups where it's like, I check it every couple of days and like you maybe get a response or not. Like I make sure literally no one like goes without getting a question. And then you can also message me privately too. If you're in the inner circle, you're more than welcome to message me privately as well. I just have like a little bit faster of a response rate in the group chat because that's the main thing I like prioritize. And then you also get the full course of over 200 plus lessons. I'm actually in the process right now of actually refilming this whole course. All students, if you're in this course already, if you bought it, or if you're within the inner circle, you're about to also get a massive new course as well for that. And then another thing that people love about the course is the weekly calls, because all the weekly calls I do in the inner circle, I also upload to the course, and people who have the course also get access to that. And this is all like what's working right now. Like I said, I do a mix between 50% Q&A and also 50% teaching live lessons and stuff of literally what's helping us scale right now inside of ad accounts and stuff. And also too, for those people who are like, well, is it beginners? Is it intermediate? I don't want to join a group with a bunch of people asking how to set up a CBO campaign or how to set up a campaign or ad account and stuff like that. This whole group, I would say, is probably good solid mix between 6 and 7 figures and a couple 8-figure earners in the group. So like I'd say 25% of people doing $1 million a month in the group. 25% of people are doing like 5 to 6 figures a month, and then like the other 50% are kind of like in between those numbers right there. So for the most part, it's a good, more advanced group of people versus like beginners. I do not like beginners in this group at all. It's not catered for them at all. And I'm talking about beginners. People are like literally trying to figure out how to set up a fucking campaign. It's like, no. You literally have to be spending at least $100 a day and like actively testing ads to be in this group. And look, nothing crazy. It's $1,000 a month to be in this group. It used to be $500 a month, and I've had to increase the price now from $500 to $600 a month. Then from 600 to 750, then from 750 went to 1,000. And that's just because as more students join, to make sure I keep the quality of this group correct, I also have to go ahead and like increase the price for this group. So I will be increasing the price of this. I'm not giving y'all anything crazy today in terms of special offer, but I will let y'all know that we're currently at 81 students right now. And long story short, at 100 students, I will be increasing the price. We will be going to $1,500 per month for the new price for the inner circle at 100 students. So we got about 19 spots open right now. If you guys are literally looking for one-on-one mentoring by me, if you're looking for more strategic and like advanced Facebook ads guidance and stuff, and also too for literally just hopping on a call with me, going through your ad account, giving you strategic feedback and stuff and like that, then highly recommend this group. I haven't seen personally any other group on the market right now that comes close to this level of value. And that's literally me spending the last 10 years running Facebook ads and joining dozens of groups to figure out why people hate all other courses and why people hate all other groups, and like literally building a group that's like, hey, giving you everything possible that you need to succeed. So I'm gonna drop the link here in a second. Long story short, once you click on the link, you'll go to this page, you'll click here, apply now. Moral of the story, like you can put whatever for the apply now. The only thing that kicks you out if you're spending less than $100 a day. Again, if you're spending less than $100 a day, you don't know how to test creatives, you don't know like all that shit, then it's like, I don't recommend it for you. I would highly recommend it for people that are in e-com, lead gen, who are specifically spending at least $100 a day, or trying to figure out how to create a winning ad. We're already kind of testing a creative or two here and there, and are looking to scale. That's like ideal right there. And then once you go through that application, long story short, you'll be approved from there. And then there's two options. There's the 10K plan, which is once a year payment. You get 2 months free. And then also to the $1,000 a month plan, whatever one you personally prefer, go for it. And then, as mentioned, there's no special offers on the monthly pricing, but I will be giving you guys not $1,000 off, not $2,000 off, but $4,000 off today for those who actually attended this call. And basically, if you pay for the whole year, I'm not going to give it to y'all for 10K. I'm literally going to give you this whole group for you for 8K for the year. So you basically get 4 free months, which comes out to about $650 per month. But again, you do have to pay the 8K. So just being very clear on that right there. And yeah, so you either pay the $1,000 a month or the 8K for the year. And I'll put this link in the comments below now. Here y'all go. Boom. And then, like I said, we got 15 or 19 spots open right now before we increase the price. And then, completely up to you if you decide to do the $1,000 or the 8K for the year. If you do want the $4,000 off, you go for the 8K for the year right there. So, and if you have any questions or if you have any troubles purchasing, just shoot me a message on Telegram at the Nick Theriot, and I'll go ahead and I'll answer that for y'all. And again, just go over some case studies real quick from the inner circle. This was Rashad. He was able to do about 100K, 30 days from the group. This particular student right here, he was just kind of in the same mindset as a lot of people. He didn't really know what was the main levers in the business to control. Once I finally showed him how research-driven creatives come from, how we you actually properly do desire, awareness, sophistication, stuff like that. He was able to do about $100,000 in 30 days. Which was awesome. This is Dixon right here. Dixon was able to do $1 million in his first year of what I would say running ads and everything like that. He was also able to hit a couple $100,000 days and stuff. Cool thing about Dixon is that when Dixon first started in the program about a year ago, is that he was literally running link click campaigns, and this was his first Shopify store. So when we hopped on our first one-on-one call, I was like, yo, bro, you got to get the fuck off those link click campaigns. And crazy thing is his product was so good that literally just the link click campaigns he was profitable on, which was insane. Isaac Hahn, the Hahn brothers. I know y'all are familiar with them if y'all watched them on YouTube. Isaac and Paul. He was able to hit 350K in a single day inside the program and stuff. And it's actually funny. I love this because when he first joined the inner circle, his literal question was, how do I increase daily spending limit to $50? He came in spending very low amounts of money on that account, and we helped him dial in his creatives and everything like that. Once we're able to dial in the creatives, start doing research focused creatives and everything, was able to substantially increase revenue inside his business. I mean, again, I don't even want to market this in the sense of a YouTube video stuff because people just wouldn't even believe me. It's such a crazy number. But yeah, Han Brothers absolutely crushed it. Shout out to them. I forgot who exactly this was, but I think I know his name, but I'm gonna leave it out because I think I purposely wanted out. But yeah, this particular student able to hit $1.4 million first 12 months, or not necessarily first 12 months. They've been running ads for a lot longer than that, but 1.4 million in the first couple months of being in the program. This student was able to do first $1 million a year, 346K in revenue this month, 150K net profits. This student was able to hit some 15K launch days. Nothing too crazy, but hey, a couple $1,000, 10, 20K days are still good. This is Shivani. She new mom and everything. Shout out Shivani. She was able to fire her agency that was just completely destroying her ads and her performance and everything. Came into the program. I helped her out with just literally going ahead, building out the team, but creatives, all of those good things. And she was able to hit her first 100K month very quickly in the program. And then cool thing about that is just recently she just hit her first 100K month profit. So this was 100K month revenue. Now she's doing 100K month profit. And she's able to treat herself to a nice little trip right there. So shout out Shivani, you earned it. And then lastly, this was, oh wait, actually got two more in here. Josh, not sure, I don't think he was on YouTube, but he hung out with the Paul or the Han brothers and stuff. Shout out Josh. He's able to do some $1 million months in the program as well. I don't even remember who this was, but 30K day. Um, I don't remember. Oh yeah, I know exactly who this person is, but they requested to keep their brand name and name out. They were able to do over $50,000 a day in the program, barely managing a couple $100 in daily revenue. Now we're doing $50,000 a day. Look, long story short, I could go on and spend a fuckload of time on that. But again, inner circle link. I'll drop that one more time in the chat real quick right here. Let's see. Boom. Copy link. And then boom. Yeah. So cool. Look, guys and girls and whoever's on this call, I got about like 20 more minutes until my girlfriend gets here. So I got some time to just literally do a full free on Q&A now. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave this up on the screen right here. Whoever has questions, just drop it. Um, this is just drop it in the chat below, and I'm gonna go through this. So I'm just gonna kind of skim through this. All right. Can you send Google Slides? Yes. You know what? Here y'all go. Here's the Google Slides. Boom. Let me do that real quick. Let's see. All right, cool. Y'all should have Google Slides now. Yes. All right. Next thing. Shout out Christians calls high self to get myself in the group. Looking forward to seeing the group, man. Cool. For what KPIs time frame do you read them the most? Daily or weekly or monthly? That's a really good question. So for it depends because it also depends on how much we're spending and how much we are how high ticket the product is, right? So like for example, for daily, if we're spending $10,000 a day and we have a product that's like a $20 product, it's like we could literally look at a 24-hour to 24-hour window because we'd be getting hundreds of purchases a day. I remember in 2024 or 2023, it was for Father's Day with metal address signs. And metal address signs, we were selling these $30 or $20 golf balls, and we were doing 50K a day with these $30 golf balls. We were selling hundreds of them a day. And I was able to look at day to day to make decisions because we were getting so much purchases because we were spending so much. But I also had situations where, for example, the acne client I showed y'all towards the beginning of this call right here, where like they're selling a $3,500 product, sales team and everything. So we have to make decisions on a week to week basis to give enough time to go by. So usually for the most part, a 7-day window is a solid time frame to look at for all levels of spend and all levels of price points. And then I may be a little bit more aggressive in terms of how a shorter time or a little bit more conservative for a longer time, depending on if we have extreme fluctuations in the accounts. So, but 7-day window is a solid right in between right there. All right, cool. Scaling. All right. Do you recommend running a separate retargeting campaign with offer? Do you recommend running a separate retargeting campaign with offer heavy objection handling ad statistics and target website visitors for the last 30 days? Um, what I'm looking at for me is no, I'm not running separate retargeting campaigns. I will literally just put all that in the same campaign. Inside of our Acme client campaign, I just had all these video shots of handling objections and questions and stuff like that. And like I like to do the TikTok reply. So like I don't know if y'all seen like the TikTok reply thing. I will literally just do that with the objection as the TikTok reply. And then I'll just have a creator answer that. Great opportunity right here to use ARCADS as well, which is the AI one, where I literally just go ahead and just use an AI person for that. So, all right, scaling 20% based on last day or 7 days of data. One goes to exactly what I said for the time frame. For the most part, I'm doing 20% every day based off yesterday's data. So I'll go in the ad account, look at yesterday, did we hit KPIs? Yes, scale by 20%. But if we're working with an account that has a lot more variability, if we have a lot more, if we have a higher ticket product, we're not spending a ton and we're not getting a lot of data, then I'm gonna look at the last 7 days before I increase that budget every day. Do you only calculate profit with TripleWell or you do it manually with like an Excel sheet? To be fair, all of the clients and students accounts that I work on is higher, like we're spending at least $100, $200 a day. And all of our clients are spending thousands of dollars a day on ads. So it's just no excuse anymore for triple well. Like it's $300-400 a month. It's something crazy. How do you find nice editors, but not full time because not at the high level yet? To be fair, I have an advantage because I'm a personal brand. So like I just had 5 editors. I just not hired, but like I hired one of the 5, and literally all I did was like put a post on my Instagram story and just said, "Hey, like, boom, like someone who wants to work with me, basically." But in that particular case right there, for me, it's I'm just going on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, you can do the LinkedIn hiring. So I'm not making a post on my LinkedIn itself. I'm going on LinkedIn hiring, which is slightly different right there. And then I'm basically just going on LinkedIn hiring and putting a post on there for an editor. And I'm basically just being very descriptive. Hey, I'm looking for part-time Facebook ads. I need to see your portfolio, all of those good things. Also go on Twitter. Twitter, and you go to like the little search box on Twitter, and just search up like ads editor right there. Um, I don't have a store or brand. I'm an affiliate running ads for offers in the health niche from ClickBank. I'm currently using a bridge page lander that takes potential customers that vendors VSL. I have no control over the lander or anything past that point. Any specific advice you can give me? I mean, look, you just have to do what you can. If you only have control over pre-landers, then do a better job at pre-landers. That's just one of the tough things with ClickBank. So, yeah, I mean, you know, there's not much I can say about that. Control what you can, which would be your pre-lander and your creatives. I thought you were only using 322. To be fair, look, there's nothing wrong with using 322. I've used it for years. I fully endorse 322. Just again, within the last 30 to 40 days, I switched over to using single image or single ads. Again, there's no major performance differences. It's just 2 different ways to do the same thing. In your experience, if I create videos for 10 to 20 ad concepts and add them into one CBO campaign, will Facebook figure out the best performing ad set to show regardless of the amount if I add in one go, or should I add them one by one? Yeah, I love adding everything in one by one. Or at once. My apologies. All at once. So like for example, if my video editor cracks me out like 10 to 20 different ads over 7 days, I will literally just go ahead and like take them all at once and upload them. I love doing that. That's my favorite. I rather upload once every 7 days than sit there and upload a new ad every day. What do you recommend for aesthetic products, especially the listicle and the VSL? So aesthetic products, that's very, very general of what you just said right there. So for me, it's like for aesthetic products, I think of like clothing, and for me, it was always lifestyle. So for me, it's like I'm really speaking to the lifestyle people want to live. So like an aesthetic product, I don't really have anything around me right here. Um, but like for me, I think of go look at Iconic. Ikonick, I think it is. Let's see. Icon. Is it Iconic or Iconic? Let's see. Yeah, Iconic. Go look at some of their ads because they're a great example of aesthetic products where they knew people who were buying this motivational art, aka look at me, I got the big fucking $100 bill right here. They knew people that were buying these types of things was buying things from the perspective of like, oh, billionaires and millionaires must have this motivational wall art in their houses, and I need something to motivate me. So they filmed all their ads in like luxury locations. Like I know one of their ads, they specifically filmed on like a balcony in Dubai, and you see the like, the water behind. They use a very attractive female in the ad with barely any clothes on, and it like just speaks perfectly to like a very young group right there. So, what advice for you in the beginning? Okay, would you advise for in the beginning to rip creatives from Kelo data to know it's a valid product? I do not advise ripping creatives at all. I don't endorse ripping creatives. Again, that's just something I don't endorse. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying I don't endorse it because all it takes is for one creator to sue you and you're fucked. To be fair, 90% of the time, creators don't sue. They'll just tell you to take down the product or take down the ad. Um, so again, I don't endorse it, but I do understand, like, hey, if you're trying to make it, you don't have the budget for creative and everything like that. Like, I understand, um, you know, from the you got to do what you with what you can. So again, I don't endorse it, but also at the same time, like I understand like the struggle's real. You got to do what you got to do sometimes. So if that's literally the only thing you can do, then go for it. But if you're in a position where like, yo, I got a couple million in the bank, I can film whatever, then don't go rip someone's creatives. What ads do you make regarding market awareness and sophistication level? That's gonna purely depend on the research. If I go do all the research and I'm like, all right, sophistication level 3, blah blah blah. That's gonna be like a very hard question to answer. But what I can tell y'all is if you'll go to my YouTube, I have, let's see, a really good video here for y'all to watch. Let's see. I don't know if it's that one. Um, yeah, it's the advanced guide. So if you just go to like my YouTube, it's the advanced guide. There we go. Advanced Facebook ads guide parts 1 through 3. I literally talk all about that right there. All right. How can I know if I'm positioning myself too high in terms of cost against the market? It's basically how can I identify my cost is too high despite a good perceived value of the product? Really good question right there, William. So for me, I always tell people it's if everyone's saying yes, charge more. If a ton of people are saying no, decrease your cost. So if you're like scaling, you're converting well, then fuck yeah, dude. Try testing a higher price. But if you can't get anything to move and you're stuck trying to spend more money, test maybe 1 or 2 prices cheaper, see what works better, and then like from there, just use the data and either continue with that new price or do something new. Long story short, for me, it's it's one of those things where it's like I like to keep things simple. So I'll just go edit, change the price on the site, and then either leave it if it's working, and if it doesn't work, I'll just go change things back after like 72 hours. Any advice for when working with clients for Legion, high ticket plastic surgery, and they don't have time to film new content all week? Daniel, really good question. Inside of today's training, I literally show you how I went over and just did some iterations, variations, like new ads and stuff like that. This is for a local lead gen client selling a $3,500 acne service. And like literally, it's all Creative OS that's working best for us. And I say Creative OS as in like that's how we're just quickly getting those templates put together. But we're still doing all the like research and like positioning and stuff like that from there. All right. And are there any specific settings in Metapixel that we need to take care both on Meta and Shopify side? Um, no, not at all. Just like when you're setting up the pixel inside of Shopify, I think it's like it asks you what level of tracking you want for the pixel. And I just make sure I select the one all the way to the right where it's like enhanced or maximum, whatever it is. All right. Hey, Nick, I launched a test day one, got 1 sell, 2 to 4 sells, $80 profit. And account got taken down. Should I launch same ads a new account? Um, I mean, to be fair, it just depends on like why the ads got taken down. Um, you know, like literally if you go and look at the ads and it's like, yeah, that's not compliant, then don't. All right, what ads pattern should I follow if I'm just starting out? Really good question. Go to my YouTube channel. I have a thing called Creative Strategy. Let's see. Let me go ahead right here. Creative Strategy. There we go. Watch this video right here. This video literally goes over and shows a beginner strategy and then it shows a more advanced strategy. So, yeah, that's all you got to do. I made $400,000 cash on delivery, amazing, but I want to switch to drop shipping with your group. Help me lock my first million. Got a lot of experience in ads. Yeah, absolutely. Um, definitely. You'll definitely learn a lot in the group from there. I think what a lot of people understand is that like the level of the mechanism you use to deliver the product is not really going to make an impact. A lot of this group is focused on things that we talked about today, but in much higher levels of like going deeper. And then also too on the same side, it's also giving my feedback of how you can further improve things, see your ad account, see your creatives, and give you specific like improvements back on your side. Scaling 20% day based on last 7 day or last day or 7 days data. And does ad account or pixel could affect performance because Facebook is inconsistently inconsistent? Um, yeah, so again, I'm 90% of the time doing scaling 20% a day based off yesterday's performance. If there is a lot of inconsistencies in performance, I'm going to do based off the last 7 days every day. And this ad account or pixel could affect performance because Facebook. Look, I've never had a case study where we switched the ad account and had better performance. I've never had a case study where we switched out the Facebook pixel and had better performance. I've just never had it. So, and I've tested it. Trust me, I've tested it plenty of times. It's just one of those levers that's just like, why the fuck would I focus on that? Um, I have a custom product which I want to launch. Is it in the health niche? What do you suggest to start first? Image ads? So for me, image or video, it comes down to what is the proof you need to provide to the customer to be able to sell them on the product. So I've already made this analogy before. I'll make it again. If I literally showcase a picture and says world's toughest iPhone case, versus me doing a video dropping the iPhone case from like the top of a house, hitting the ground, picking it up, and showing that the phone still works perfectly fine, that's going to do substantially better. So I always like to look at it first from the perspective of like, will a photo or will a video do a better job of portraying what I need people to believe to buy the product? There's been plenty of times where statics did better. There's been plenty of times where videos did better. It just depends what I need to portray to someone based off what they desire and what they want in life. Um, for example, the Acme client I showed y'all literally a couple times on this call, they're doing 100 times better with statics than videos. So because all I need to do is show them a picture of of someone with clear skin. That's also the other thing is you want to do it as few as words possible from there. All right, if you had only $500 to invest per month and a product costs $15, margins 4x, would you product seed or would you create more creatives? If I only had $500 to invest per month, I'd definitely product seed for a fact. Is it worth creating product videos for product page, turntable video, or lifestyle? I love product videos on the product page where it makes sense, as long as it makes sense versus you just doing like literally just one thing. Like you don't want to like jam it in people's face. Hey Nick, I launched a test day one, got one sell, day two. Okay, no, I literally answered that. Hey, I want to join the inner circle so I get course plus one-on-one coaching. Yeah, so if you join the inner circle, you get the course and the coaching and everything. It's not like you join the inner circle and just get the coaching. Now, if you join just the course by itself, you only get the course. Inner circle is my flagship program, so you get both. Um, all right. Do you only calculate profit at Tripwell? Already bought that. Can I buy the course without the coaching? Yeah. So like, if y'all want to buy the course without the coaching, like literally just go over here. It's called next tier ads. So boom, I'll drop that in the comments as well, right there. Um, cool. All right. Let me scroll back up here. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Thanks, Value Nick. Appreciate you giving free value. You welcome. I appreciate y'all showed up. Y'all did absolutely amazing on today's call. Any SOP to share what KPI you need to hit? Yeah. So literally just go and watch. I think I literally just dropped this video. Like do do do. Uh, watch me build how to create Facebook video ads. Which one was it? Oh, unbeatable method to scaling Facebook ads. in 2025. That's a really good video to watch about like what KPI you need to hit. All right. Do you use tracking software like WeTracked? I actually use Triple. To be fair, I've been noticing like a substantially like better performance from like Shopify to Facebook ads in terms of like tracking and everything. So I've been seeing a lot less like tracking issues from Facebook to Shopify. So I've just been rolling with mostly Shopify data, but I love Triple because I can see immediately profit, new customers versus returning customers, LTV, like all of these things as a clickable button. All right, I mostly struggle when I start from problem aware app because I don't know how many seconds I need to explain to him the problem or just show him the problem, the hook, and introduce a solution directly. Yeah, like you don't need to sit there. Like you have to keep in mind that like when someone's problem aware, they already know the problem aware. Like, hey, do you have high blood pressure? Yeah. Well, the secret to solving high blood pressure is actually by lowering the sodium in your bloodstream. And to lower your sodium, you just need to go ahead and like literally change up your diet and have lower sodium foods. This doesn't mean you have to like sit down and eat like grilled chicken all day and rice. There's actually a lot of really good foods you can eat just with lower sodium. And then from there, that's why I put together this cookbook of like the perfect foods to eat for someone with high blood pressure and needs to have watch their sodium and stuff. So like you see how I did right there? I didn't really talk much about the problem. I talked about the problem just for a second to grab people's attention. And then I went into taking someone from problem aware to solution aware right there. That's all I did. And again, that's a great opportunity right there for us to hop on some one-on-one calls in the inner circle and be able to go over that. Do you use tracking software like Retract, TrackB again? Um, just literally, triple L. One ad set per desire. So it's like for me, when I go and create an ad concept, when I go create an ad concept for me, that ad concept for me is just a headline. And then I either make a photo with that headline or I make a script with that headline for UGC. When I make that headline, I'm only looking at one desire, one persona, one awareness, one sophistication level. And then from there, I go build out that creative. Then, if it's a photo, I'll swap in a few different backgrounds so I can have like 5 to 6 images. Or if it's a video, I'll swap out just the visual hook to where I have 5 or 6 videos, all with a different visual hook, but everything's the same. And then I plug that into an ad set. And then inside that ad set, yes, it is only one persona, one desire, one awareness, one sophistication. That does not mean I only ever use that ad set for that desire. That doesn't mean I go and launch 10 other ad sets all at different levels of market awareness. That's just the ad concept I want to create. If I have 5 more ad concepts I want to create for that particular desire, then I'll just go launch those other 5 ad sets alongside that as well. Do you increase your daily budget based on CPA or ROAS? 80% of our clients are CPA, 20% on ROAS. To be fair, it really does not matter if you do CPA or ROAS. I think what people have like really like shied away from, or like why so many people talked bad about ROAS, was due to the fact that people were chasing like really crazy ROAS numbers, like, hey, I need a 10x ROAS or I need a 20x ROAS. And like that's just not realistic right there relative to like, maybe like a lower CPA or something like that. So so if you have the lowest realistic expectations around ROAS, that's perfectly fine. So all right, cool. Let's see, a couple more questions we'll go through. If profiles get taken down, what do you do? Go to Agency Aurora, ask them for a Facebook profile. Maybe like $100, $200 each. I have a custom product. I already answered that. Do you have any strategies on launching a product using ABO interest testings for a beginner dropshipping store? Any YouTube videos? No, I would literally not. Like, I've already made a video, 0 to 30K. Boom. I have this as a YouTube video. This is a great example of like one of the weekly calls we did with the inner circle students. I literally show you step by step of a brand new ad account. It had $0 in spend, and I literally go ahead and scale that to 30K a month. from that. So, all right. Hey Nick, do you optimize for custom purchase event, like purchase new customers? I have a client who's using this in an ad account struggling subscription-based personal care niche. I don't use any custom purchase events right now. I still just optimize for purchases. Yes, Nick, Picard is way easier than drop just order and not receive the product. All right. Sometimes I see my performance drop when I launch ads and increase budget on the same night. This is typical. I literally, the only time I ever see ads like performance drop from launching new ads is if a new ad takes overall spend and hurts performance. But me just simply launching new ads and then barely getting any spend, I don't ever see it drop performance. Um, Unless it's like outside of the normal like thing that we do. And I say normal thing we could do, like the normal Facebook inconsistencies right there. Um, Do you recommend any good agency to get the videos from since it's a custom product? I don't have any agencies I would recommend for video. I would recommend is two things. Number one, go to incense.com and just hire a content creator. That's number one. Number two, then just go look for like a videographer local to you and have a videographer film a bunch of content for you. It's another easy one right there. If the ad does the selling well enough, even if it's problemware, is pre-selling page still necessary? Look, if you already have an ad crushing it and like you're scaling, then testing a pre-sell page, I'd probably test three or four of them just to see if you can even further like improve the performance of it. But if it's already scaling, then like for me, like I'm not really worried about it until it becomes a problem. So, hey Nick, have you ever worked with apps and market them on Facebook ads? Yes, I have. I worked with one client for about 2 years in the app space, helped them cut their cost per acquisition down substantially. Um, Back then, that was from 2020, like April, it was 2021, just after iOS 14.5. And the biggest problem we struggled with was tracking at that time. But now I think tracking on apps is pretty good again. All right, cool. Um, Nick, please send us a recording of the email we used to get here. Yeah, I'm literally gonna send out an email blast with basically this whole recording for you guys. All right. I've noticed that some ads with better ROAS and lower CAC are getting under-delivered while Meta keeps pushing spin towards the weaker performers. What's your take on that? Would ABO give me more control? Do you still recommend CBO in this case? Look, if you have an ad that's taking over spin and doing really bad, and you have ads that are spending less but doing really good, I would literally just test turning the top performing ad off for or top spending ad off for 72 hours. And if that might make performance better or worse. If it makes it better, cool, amazing. You solved the problem, keep going. If it makes it worse, then turn it back on. In this case, what's happening is that when a CBO is spending money on ads, Facebook is spending based off the pockets of people. The higher spending ad just simply means that there's substantially more people that resonate with that ad. The ads that are getting not a lot of spend have substantially less amount of spend that Facebook can spend it on. So it completely just depends on that case right there. Um, so yeah, I mean, moral of the story, I'd be looking at what's different about the lower spending ads compared to the higher spending ads right there. Turn off the ad set that makes overall spend and makes performance. What metrics to look for to know it's hurting performance except CPA? I mean, look, I'm only looking at spend and CPA. That's it. And then like cost per click just gives me a gauge right there. Because again, if I lower cost per click in most cases also help out better CPA. Any advice for me helping a client make creatives for their AI app? I would go and first look at what are the types of creatives that's working in general right now for apps. I'd go to Facebook Ads Library and just look at various different types of apps, not specifically just AI. And then go look at the last app or ad specifically that's been on for at least 90 days and recreate some of those ads for apps with your specific product, your specific AI app. What would you say if the creators perform well organically but not on the ads? Then what could be wrong? Just because it performs well organically doesn't mean it's a great ad. I mean, to be fair, like there's reels that I post. I post a lot of reels organically, and I'll post them and they'll crush organically, and then I move it over to ads and they don't perform nearly as well. I think what a lot of people misunderstand is that, like, let's say, for example, a reel brings you in a couple $1,000s in sales and gets like a couple million views. It's like, well, great, but to get a couple million views on ads, it's going to spend a fuckload of money. So a couple million views just for a couple $1,000s in revenue, like that's going to be a substantially really bad ROAS on there. So for me, it's like I like to test organic content that pops off, but it doesn't mean it's not a guarantee that it's going to work on paid ads because with organic stuff, when it pops off, there's no ad spend. So there's nothing you really have to worry about from an ROI perspective right there. So. All right, how would you recommend I find the candidate for product seeding if I only know a single platform? $400 per month, only $5 per month to spend. Look, literally go on TikTok. TikTok has literally a whole like content creator database. And then just go on like Instagram Reels and just type in the specific niche you're looking for, hashtag fitness, hashtag whatever, and then literally just go ahead and put it out from there. Just start looking at creators, reaching out to them. Very straightforward. All right, cool. Well, look, it looks like we got everyone. This was awesome. I had a lot of fun. I'll probably look at doing like another one of these. It's July. I'll probably look at doing another one of these maybe end of August, maybe like September, and I could do like a Black Friday one. I think that'd be really cool for that. I'm gonna drop the link for the inner circle one more last time right here in the chat. So if there's any other questions around the inner circle specifically, now's the time to ask those. Again, specific to the inner circle. If there's no questions around that, then we're going to roll out here in a second. I need some food on my side. So, but cool. All right, everyone. I'm going to email the recording to y'all. I don't know when exactly I'll do it. It'll be sometime tomorrow. I'll get this uploaded. And then I'm also going to go through all the Instagram stories as well for those who entered into the free giveaway for the course and stuff like that. So good seeing everyone. Hope y'all have a good rest of y'all day and y'all take care.